Hey guys, it's WB Trading Cards here, back with another episode of my summer series where we do a preview championships for next year's Euro 2016. Now, we did have one competitive episode before this where we play out all of the games in Group A. Of course, that was a pretty decent group featuring Italy, Czech Republic, Poland and England. So if you do want to see that episode, then I'll put a link to it in the description down below, and I'll also put down there a short description of what happened last episode, and I'll be doing that every episode so you guys don't get left behind, because I know that can happen with series like these. Anyway, today's group does feature Russia, Greece, Slovenia and Portugal. Our first game is going to be Slovenia versus Portugal, and of course this is where the two teams are picked by the best attacker, controller and defender of their 6 cards, their 6 teammate cards. And we also have this pack of 36 to give them their boosts, and so I'll just shuffle that up now. Slovenia versus Portugal is the first game, and Slovenia will start with Handanovic, who will face Portugal's Ronaldo. So let's get straight into this first duel. The 87 rated Handanovic, only narrowly beaten by Ronaldo with 90 on the normal stat. Now we do have to add the boosts, and Mitroglou is going to be the one to boost Handanovic. He gives him a boost of, as you can see, 6 plus 0, that's his defense stat, 6 plus 0, which does give Handanovic, take Handanovic up to 93. And now Ronaldo does get a boost of 9 from David Ford, which does take him up to 99. So that was David Ford's 4 plus 5 added to Ronaldo's 90. That does take him up to 99, meaning he beats Handanovic by 6. And that means that after the first round, of course, if they beat their opponent by more than 0, then they get 1 goal, more than 7, they get 2 goals, and more than 15, they get 3 goals. So that does come in the more than 0, which does get Portugal 1 goal to put them 1-0 up. Our next duel is the control one, and this is Slovenia's Bursa facing up against Hal Pereira of Portugal. And so Bursa does have 81 on his control to Pereira's 76, of course without boosts. Bursa is going to get a boost of 9 from Yanko, that is his 7 plus 2, and that does take him up to 90. We then, for Pereira, we also have a boost of 9, which means the boost cancel out, and the original stat of 81 to 76 was 5, meaning Slovenia equal it up in the second duel to make it 1-1. As we now move on to the third and final battle of this game, we've got 88 rated Pepe versus 81 rated Kurtic. Pepe should be looking to run away with this one, and Kurtic just get a boost of 7 plus 4, which is decent. That's 11 from Zengin, and that does mean that he is taken up to 92. Then Pepe gets a very decent boost of 14 from Corluka, which does take him up to 102, meaning he beats him by 10. Pepe wins it by 10, and that means he does score 2 goals for Portugal. And that does cause Portugal to take home 3 points with a 3-1 win over Slovenia. As we now do move into the second game, and this one is going to feature Greece and Russia. So neither of these teams are particularly good, but they'll both be looking to get off to a good start in this competition. So the first duel is the Greece defender, which is Manolas with 87. I'll just take you in a bit more here. Manolas with 87, and he's going up against Chizuba from Russia with 80 on his attack stats. Now Manolas does get a boost of 10 from Jagielka, which is his 9 plus 1 on defense. Of course, it matches Manolas' stat, and that does take him up to 97. And now Zuba does get a boost of 8 from Vertonghen, 7+1, and that does take him up to 88, so 97 to 88 is 9, meaning Manolas wins this by 9, and that does score 2 goals for Greece. Then Holebas, Greece's midfielder, does have 79, facing off to Kombarov's 79 also, which does mean it's going to come all down to the boosts. And Holebas's boost is 9 from Nyland, and then we do have a boost of 13 from Fuchs, which means that Kombarov does win this one by 4 and get 1 goal back for Russia to make it 2-1. As we do move on to the final duel of the second game of the 6, and this one is between Mitroglou with 82 and Berezutski with 84. Mitroglou does get a boost, an incredible boost of 16 from Marquisio, of course 7 plus 9, and that does take him up to 98. And then we do have Berezutski, who does get a boost from Pepe, which does take him up to, so that's a boost of 16, which takes him up to 100. So 100 to 98 means Berezutski wins this by 2 points, and that does mean that Berezutski scores the goal that equals it up for Russia to give a final result of 2 apiece. As we do now move on to the third game of Group B, and this one will feature Cristiano Ronaldo's Portugal versus Greece. Now Cristiano Ronaldo in the first duel, once again 90 on attack versus Manolis' 87 on defence. Cristiano Ronaldo does get a boost from Real Madrid teammate Iker Casillas of 14, his 9+5, and that does take him up to 104. And then we do have Kurzakov, who does give a boost of 6 to Manolas, taking him up to 93. That means Ronaldo wins this duel by 11 and gets 2 goals for the Portuguese to make it 2-0. We then move into the next duel, and now this is between 76 rated controller Hal Pereira and 79 rated controller Holebas. Now Pereira does get a boost of 9, 7+3, which does take him up to 85. And then Holebas does get a boost of 10 from Inler, 8+2, and that does take him up to 89, meaning Holebas gets 1 goal back for Greece to make it 2-1 to Portugal. As we move on to the final duel between 88 rated Pepe and 82 rated Mitroglou. Pepe only gets a boost of 8 from Payet, and that does mean that he goes up to 96. Then Mitroglou gets a boost of 10, which does take him up to 92, meaning Pepe gets the final goal in the game, and that does leave Portugal with a 3-1 win. And this does take us on to the fourth game of the 6 in Group B, and we do have Russia versus Slovenia. Now, we do start off with 80 rated Juba facing up against 87 rated Handanovic. Juba does get a boost of 14 from Bursa, which does take him up to 94. Of course, Bursa, a Slovenian, giving the boost, a very good boost to Juba. We then do have a boost of 9 for Handanovic from Immobile, and that does take him up to 96, meaning he does get 1 goal for Slovenia by winning his duel by 2. As we then do move on to the next boost, this is in midfield. We do then move on to the next battle, this is the midfield battle, and it's between 79 rated Kombarov and 81 rated Bursa. Kombarov does get a good boost of 13, which does take him up to 92 for Russia. And then we do have Diego Costa giving a boost of 15 to Bursa, which does take him up to 96. He wins the duel by 4, meaning he gets 1 goal for Slovenia, and that does means Slovenia go 2-0 up after 2 duels. As we now move into the final one, and Berezutski with 84 is facing up against Kurtic with 81. Now, it's all coming down to Berezutski here, as he does need to get 2 goals if he wants to equalise for Russia. He does get a boost of 10 from Foreign, which does take him up to 94. But then for Kurtic, we do have a boost from his teammate Campbell of 77, which is 14, and that does take him up to 95, which means he wins the final duel by 1 and gives us Slovenia a 3-0 win. As we now do move into the final round of games for this episode, and this game will be Slovenia versus Greece. And so on your screen right now, you can see the table. We've got Portugal leading the group with 6 going into the final round of games. We then got Slovenia on 3 points. Greece and Russia are joint on 1, with Greece 1 higher in goal difference. And our next game does feature Greece, and they face up against second place Slovenia. Now, whoever wins this game will go above or stay above the opposition. So if Slovenia win, they will end up above Greece, and if Greece win, they will end up above Slovenia. So this game could be decisive to who gets the second place spot in Group B. So the first duel in the first game of the final round, we do have Samir Handanovic with 87 against Michglu with 82. Handanovic does get a boost of 9, 7 plus 2 from Andrei Schürrle, which does take him up to 96. And then Michglu's boost is 7 from John O'Shea, 7 plus 0. That does take him up to 89. So Handanovic is 7 ahead in the end, 96 to 89, and that does mean he only gets 1 goal, because of course you have to get more than 7 to get the 2 goals, and so that does put Slovenia 1-0 up after the first battle. The next battle is the midfield one, and we do have Bursa versus Holebas. Now, Bursa does have 81 on his control stats, and he's facing up against Holebas's 79, and so Bursa does get a massive boost of 15 from Benucci, which does take him up to 96. And then for Holebas, we do have a boost of just 7 plus 5, which is 12, and that does take him up to 91. So 96 to 91 means Slovenia win this duel by 2, and Bursa does get 1 goal for the Slovenians. As we do move into the final duel in what could be a decisive game, we've got Manolas with 87 against Kurtic with 81. Manolas needs a lot of points here if he wants Greece to have any chance of going through. Kurtic will get the first boost, and he does get it from Ignacevic, and it is a boost that could be fatal to Greece. It is a boost of 14, and so that does take Kurtic up to 95. And then we do have Sabitzer, who gives a boost of 8 to Manolas, and that does also take him up to 95, meaning the final duel is drawn, and that does mean that no goals are scored in the final duel, and Slovenia win the game 2-0 and probably put Greece out of the competition. And now we do have our final game of Group B, and now this one is Portugal versus Russia. And Portugal are starting with Pepe, a very strong player with 88 on his defence, and he does get a boost from teammate Danny of 67, and so that does take him up to 103. Well, he gets a boost of 13, sorry, not 67, 6 plus 7, 13. That does take him up to 101, and that's probably gonna be decisive in this duel. But Zuba does get also a massive boost of 16, 7 plus 9 from his teammate Jagoev, and that does take him up to 96. So 101 to 96 is 5, and Pepe puts Portugal 1-0 up. At the moment, it's looking good for Portugal. They are on their way to a 100% winning record in their group, and we do have the next duel, which does feature Hal Pereira and Kombarov. It is the midfield or controller battle. Hal Pereira gets a boost to his 76 of 10 from Axel Witsel, 8 plus 2. That does take him up to 86. And then Kombarov, does get a boost of 11 from Pilar, which does take him up to 90. So 90 to 86 does mean Russia equalise it up after the second duel. But for Portugal, the best is still yet to come. We've got Ronaldo in the final duel facing up against Russia captain Berezutski. Now Ronaldo does get a boost of 8 from Rakitic, which does take him up to 98. And then Ivanovic gives Berezutski a boost also of 8, and that does take him up to 92. So 98 to 92 does mean Ronaldo wins this final duel by 6 and does get Portugal the winning goal to make it 2-1 in the end. So that is it for today's Group B matches. Guys, if you did enjoy the video, please do smash that thumbs up button. There is the final table of Group B on your screen right now. Portugal and Slovenia do have the automatic places, and Russia and Greece, each with only 1 point, will probably not be getting the third place. That does go through, of course, in this competition. The best third place finishers do also go through. The 4 best out of the 6 groups, they go through along with the top 2 from every group. But yeah, that is it for today's video. Please do smash that thumbs up button, and I'll see you next time.